Hello, my name is Omar Abisad. It's 5:29 p.m., September 2nd, 2020. So I'm being scanned all day, and the scanning, of course, causes up and down fluctuations in my blood pressure. So I started scanning at 5:11, 125 over 78, 126 over 77, 118 over 81, 117 over 77, 116 over 77, 127 over 80, all in a sitting position, no activity, and the pulse from 79. Well, let's read it. 79, 80, 76, 74, 75, 81, all in a sitting position. So there it is. So I started here. Okay, so I'm going to take it right now. It's just going to take a few seconds. And I'm just going to read a little bit of an article that I found on a website called militarytimes.com. And I was doing a little bit of research on the Russell Williams case. So it's 113 over 76. So the last reading was 127 over 80. So I am being scanned by chest, on and off. So there is a male, a female, and a male that is shouting outside her window that I could hear because I'm sitting here. Stay with me. Um, Somebody has documents already downloaded to have me mentally committed, to get a public guardian, and it's going to go to the government, and the government has this file about me, and so on and so on and so on. So I had better stay with Rick. So Rick, there's all kinds of Ricks floating around all over the place. There was a Rick on the wall fixing the bricks, swearing. There was multiple Ricks in workplaces of multiple workplaces. I think there is a Rick or a few Ricks in the building. So I'm not sure which Rick it is that's being referred to. Apparently, all these Ricks logged on to me and saw me naked. So it may as well be one of them, whoever he is. So, okay, so that's just as a comment there. So I'm going to read this article that I found when I was researching Russell Williams' case, because his is not the only connection to the military. Um, his what he did as a member of the military, high-ranking military, um, is not unique. There are other instances of this happening. So he just happened to be operating at a higher level. That's all. Um, there is a possibility that as a pilot that he was flying more than just um, military equipment and so on. So who knows? Um, I'm suspecting that maybe his um, his flights were maybe a version of the Lolita Express. Who knows? But anyways, so I'm going to read this article, or part of it, anyways. And as I said, the militarytimes.com. And there's a warning here. It says report. This report contains explicit language. It all started on WhatsApp. The first is a cascade of US Navy investigations into soldiers accused of trafficking, housing, and pimping female prostitutes in the Middle East. It can be traced back to June 2017, and a string of sex charged encrypted text messages between a sailor in Bahrain and a Thai prostitute he met on the island. It's interesting that I think Russell Williams was posted somewhere in the Middle East as well. Okay, I'm not going to read all the explicit stuff. You're sexy than a mother blankety blank with your mean blankety blank. Um, okay, so gonna meet second class jihad H. Little John had texted the woman in June 4th, 2017, according to the Navy court records. Prosecutors would later allege that Little John, a 29-year-old from New Jersey, assigned a patrol ship Hurricane, then assigned to the patrol ship Hurricane, had paid the so-called working girl for sex. Okay, it gets more explicit, which I'm going to um, skip. But the woman, Lynn Rye West, was more than just another prostitute. Court records show she was also known as a Mama Sam, a pimp who managed her own stable of prostitutes that she trafficked, protected, and profited from. And I'm skipping bits and pieces here. Court records show she told him she was going to buy some more girls from Thailand and would put them to work in Bahrain's lucrative sex trade, one often fueled by US military personnel stationed there. Navy prosecutors later cited the text message exchange to allege that the duo had hatched a plan to fly several women in from Thailand, house them in Little John's off post apartment, and put them to work selling sex, with Little John expected to take a cut of the earnings. Okay, pimping. The petty officers, so this is just, I would think, of just the tip of the iceberg. But it's not about these military officers, military men buying sex. It's about trading in sex. The petty officer would take their passports, take their freedom. Navy prosecutor Lieutenant Ty Christian said at Little John's trial in August 2019. So the passport is important to pimps. So I heard Badr Nizar is after my passport, which makes Badr Nizar a pimp and a sex slave operator. I heard Rick is also after my passport, and several other people. I heard some pimps actually had pimps, police informants who actually had my passport um, or asked for my passport to be pulled. I heard um, it was actually pulled. I'm not quite sure. The name Joe was called in my case. So to seal the deal, Little John allegedly paid Ray West 1,000 Bahraini dinar, about 2,650 at the time, to front the cost of getting the prostitutes from Thailand to Bahrain, according to court records. In return, Ray West gave him a passport as collateral. Naval Criminal Investigative Service agents raided Little John's apartment in September 2017 and found Ray West's passport hidden in a safe, according to court records and testimony. For reasons that remain unclear, Ray West didn't testify at Little John's trial, and the petty officer was acquitted on all charges last summer. He was acquitted. It's not taken seriously. But in 2017, this alleged partnership between Little John and Ray West, chronicled in the text messages she provided to NCIS, helped spark a web of investigations that reveal how deeply involved some U.S. sailors had become with the commercial sex trade in Bahrain. Throughout the next year, those probes uncovered evidence that sailors were housing prostitutes in their taxpayer-funded apartments, seizing the women's passports and taking a cut of the women's earnings, profiting from a sex trade that serviced shipmates who lived on the island or who came ashore during port calls. Allegations of brutal sexual assaults on the vulnerable women also came to light, as did evidence of at least one sailor acting as an enforcer for local prostitutes, shaking down a shipmate for payments. Ray West emerged as a central figure in several of the Navy investigations. Court records showed the woman was well known among sailors in Bahrain. She was also a longtime confidential and CIS informant, plying her illicit trade, reporting sailor misconduct, and collecting cash rewards in the process. Reporting sailors' misconduct while she sells prostitutes. So she was a double agent. She was a spy. So I'm going to skip a whole lot here because there's a lot of detail. So I'm going to let you read it and I'll post the link. Yet by 2017, sailors were not just patronizing prostitutes. The NCIS investigations revealed a shadowy subculture outside the gates of NSA Bahrain that had metastasized into multi-layered enterprises with sailors as profiteers. The misconduct flew in the face of the Pentagon's anti-trafficking policies and attendant online training programs that troops from all services must regularly complete. Some evidence suggests the involvement of U.S. sailors was widespread. One accused chief told NCIS agent in 2018 that he believed up to 15% of sailors assigned into Bahrain were housing prostitutes in their off-post apartments. He stated many other sailors do not think you can or will actually get in trouble for patronizing prostitution or hosting foreign nationals in their off-base residence, the NCIS summary of the interview states. That chief who told NCIS agents he had patronized 10 to 15 prostitutes in Bahrain in 2017 said he knew several of the women he paid to have sex with were engaged in debt bondage, owing their Mama San approximately 2,500 Bahraini dinar, or about 6,600, for coming to Bahrain, one NCIS report states. According to NCIS records, another sailor told agents that service members have been housing women for profit since at least 2012, when he was previously stationed in Bahrain. So it goes on and on. The article goes on and on. So it goes on about activities within the ranks that was trying to address it. But at the end of the whole thing, nothing much was done. So I'm just going to skip to this point here. Corey Bean, a lawyer and naval reservist, was assigned to Bahrain from 2016 to 2019 and was a defense attorney on several of the Navy's sex trade related cases there. Now, back in stateside civilian practice, Bean suspects that willful ignorance of the problem in Bahrain was the plan of the day by 2017. Unless it was flagrant, unless somebody really waved it in the face of leadership, no one was looking for it, so it could go undetected, Bean said. Nobody really cared to pursue what I think everybody kind of figured out was going on. They didn't quite know how to address it or thought through how to address it until they had to. So quite a long article. It goes on and on and on and on. Provides affidavits, very detailed personal accounts, conversations, recordings. Uh, yeah, quite a bit of detail here. Okay, so it's very interesting reading, but take it'll take forever for me to go through it. At the end of the day, here is some of the closing comments. The Navy's leadership had turned a blind eye to such interactions and only acted when the issue metastasized into reports of human trafficking, he argued. This is the lawyer. It's a lawyer talking. The command and law enforcement understood that prostitution, especially in foreign countries, goes hand in hand with human trafficking. Higher ups had dodged responsibility for things getting to this point. In Bahrain, Kearns wrote. I'm not saying no action should be taken against these sailors. I believe some action should be taken against the command. So Yeah. So this is an issue apparently that is not so uncommon in the military. Now that article talked about men in the lower ranks pimping, using the services and pimping, and the men in the higher ranks ignoring it, turning a blind eye. Um, the same question could be asked about what happened in Russell Williams' case. Blind eyes. So anyway, I'm just going to leave that up in the air. Talk to you another time.